The Texans should have fixed the problem in training camp.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go. Hard work, work. Everybody doing it right. Hard work, work, work. That's what you say. Hard work, work, work. Earn more pay. Hard work, work, work. Do it every day. Hard work, work. Get up out of quarter to three. Hard work, work. Let it go and earn more pay. Hard work, work. Boots on and lace.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You're tuning to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because you know we do everything for the gram. And make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Texans podcast and the Locked On Texans YouTube page. All right, what's going on, y'all? Hello. I know y'all saying to yourself, now, why is Sarge interrupting my Saturday? Like, I was perfectly fine just enjoying my Saturday, especially Texas fans. It's like, look, I've watched enough of the Texans to make me want to drink this Saturday. I just want to sit on my couch, watch college football, and chill. Sarge, why are you interrupting my Saturday? Well, for one, because I feel like everybody who takes their time out to spend it with me, I kind of consider us friends. We not friends. And when your friend needs to talk, don't you need to make time for your friend to talk? Like, you got to make time for your friend to talk, right? Oh, side note. Hey, what's going on, Paw little girls? McKinley and ZZ, Paw love you. All right. But we're friends, right? So as friends, we should be able to, like, when we need to talk, right? So let's just go ahead and talk. Let me get I got my regulars in here. I appreciate y'all. What's going on, Alexis? What's going on, Robert? Matthew, what it do? Robert said, I need to hear everything you got to say about the Texans. I got some Henny and watching this. Can we skip to the next game? We will next week. Next week we will. And so, look, let me tell you all something. I'm not in here to rehash everything that went on Thursday night. I was there. It was horrible. It was atrocious. That second half of the game, the second half was the worst. And it's something that we've always talked about here on Sports Talk with Big Sarge is that they can't seem to make the second half adjustments. And normally it's just the offense. But this time it's the defense. And you all remember I asked here about a couple of weeks ago, probably about 2 weeks ago, when I asked, hey, how come the defense always has to save the offense? And what's going to happen when the defense plays bad and can't save the offense? And we seen that on Thursday night against the Jets. The defense couldn't save the offense. They tried as best as they could, but they could not save the offense because they gave up they gave up 3 70-plus yard drives. And hey, look, at some point, they got to be able to play bad too. And so they know that the offense is having an issue. Hold on. I'm still in the mood from Thursday night. I want to forget about it. No. Hold on. Baby time. Cody M. Davis. Hey, Cody, do not leave. Stay right here for a second because what I'm about to say, you noticed this as well before you left to go and work for the Detroit News and cover the Detroit Pistons. When you were on the beat, one of the things that we would always talk about is exactly what I'm about to talk about in just a second. Alexis, don't be showing Cody no love. He in Detroit. He not in H-Town no more. I mean, he up there claiming Houston, but I mean, he in Detroit now. What y'all say? What up, Detroit, though? Detroit, what up, though? Whatever you say. Let Cody, he gonna stay up there. We're not giving Cody no love over here. I'm just lying. Cody, no, my guy. Cody, I want you to make sure that you're here. So look, hold on. I'm gonna give just yes. J-Mac, believe me when I tell you this, and make sure you heard it here first. Yes. Aggressively. Yes. Since people talking about the only breaking news Vic Sarge breaks is what they got new as far as food is concerned over at NRG. Hey, that's cool. I don't care nothing about that. This last week I told y'all about Kenyon Green. If you watch my post game, which was the like right after the game, you know that I had already broken the news that Kenyon Green had a dislocated shoulder. I told you all that in my post game. Well, no need for me to announce it. Some of y'all, it doesn't matter anyway. What does this say? What up, Fred? In and out mobile services. All right, Fred. What's going on? AD, what's good, brother? Do you think coaching changes will happen? Stay tuned, Terry. We got some people up in here. Sorry to be honest, it's change coming. We need something. This team has too much potential. Just miss the accountability at this point. Let's just say this. Let me just say this. It's going to be a very busy weekend leading up to the AD. If I'm not mistaken, the trade deadline ends on November 5th, right? The same day the election is over, right? Make sure y'all get out and vote. Ha ha. Hold on. What did it say? Ah. 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 What up, though? All right. It's Tuesday, right? That's what I thought. November the 5th is Tuesday, right? Make sure you get out and vote. The trade deadline is Tuesday, and let's just say that those phones are being worked aggressively. Now, what's going on now? Hold on. I'm gonna get some more of these comments in here real quick before I start because what's going on? Because y'all are taking this time to spend this time with me, so I definitely want to make sure that y'all voices be heard too. It don't matter who come at this team; they can't protect you. Go exactly, Emac. All right, so dang, I wish Cody was available because I sure would put him on this show with me. Check this out. So, what's good, Demar? Hold on, let me go ahead and what's good, Demar? Let me go ahead. All right, so because I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure that I got this thing right. So the Texans coaching staff and Nick Caserio knew that the offensive line was an issue during training camp. Now, for those of you all who follow Big Sarge, for those of you all who know Big Sarge, and for those of you all who follow Cody M. Davis when he was here on the beat covering the Houston Texans, about to call in. Go ahead, call. Don't worry. I'll put you right through. Cody knows this as well when he was on the beat. You know how many times I reported that, hey, something just ain't right. Something ain't right with this offense. Something ain't right with CJ. And it seems like he's holding on to the ball just a little bit longer. And I said, something ain't right because that's not how CJ Stroud plays. That's not how he plays. Now, you seen he answered the question. If you don't, go to my my Twitter page at Big Star Sports with a Z at the end and see the video that I posted. I asked him about does the pressure take a toll on him later on in the game? And he said I could do my part by getting the ball out faster, getting the ball out quicker. Yeah, that's true. But during training camp, I kept wondering, okay, why is CJ holding this ball so long? Especially with the amount of pressure that is getting to him. Why does he keep holding this ball? And then Bobby came out and tried to sell me on the fact that one of the reasons why CJ was holding on to the ball so long and taking so many in the pocket sacks and things like that was because he was designing the play. Remember, Bobby told me this. It's on my page. Go back to August 5th. August 5th, when they were in Ohio for those 3 days, I asked Bobby about that. And Bobby said, some of the plays are designed for him to not go to his first progression, his second progression, his third progression. I make him go through all his progressions before he could pass the ball. So I'm saying to myself, okay, Bobby, well, if you're trying to teach him how to do this, then cool, if that's really the case. But I told you all for a very long time during training camp, hey, something is not right. Something just ain't right. Now, one of the main issues that the Houston Texans have right now is interior offensive line deficiencies. Kenyon Green wasn't good, hasn't been good. Juice Scruggs hasn't been good. And Shaq Mason hasn't been good. Now, if you go back to training camp, you'll remember those three players practiced the majority of the time. It was Titus who didn't practice, and it was Laramie who didn't practice. So your right tackle and your left tackle didn't practice a lot, but your interior line practiced a lot. So I could understand the pressure from Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter that they were putting on. Who was they had Broker in there one? No, not Broker. They had, I forgot who they had at tackle and right tackle, but I know that Blake Fisher was playing the left tackle. Hold on, let me look at this paper right quick. I got the who was playing right tackle? I know it's Blake Fisher was on one side, and then who was the other tackle though? Oh, they were mixing and matching with David Sharp and some other people, I think. But anyway, so the two tackles didn't play. But that interior line did play. So you can X out what Danielle was doing, and you can X out what Will was doing. That interior line, in the interior part of that line was getting the hell beat out of them. And I said it, and I know Cody Davis said it. I don't know who else said it. I don't know. But I kept saying something ain't right. How many times did we report? How many times did I report? I'm just going to talk about me. I can't speak about nobody else. I can talk about me because I know me better than anybody else know me. I had to tell that to DJ Bieniemy last week. You're going to try to tell me, Sarge, I don't believe you think that. How you going to believe that I don't think that, DJ, when I know me better than, like I've been living with me for 52 and 3/4 years. I know me better than anybody knows me. I digress. I'm going to speak about me only from this point on. I kept reporting, man, CJ having a bad day in training camp. CJ had another bad day in training camp. CJ not looking good in training camp. Hey, man, something ain't right. CJ, there's a lot of pressure on CJ. Hey, Khalil Davis is looking good. Fadakasi is looking good. Tim Settle, like when they're getting in there and they're getting the run, like these interior defensive linemen, they're looking good against this Texans interior line. And I don't know if that's just because they're that good or if that interior offensive line is just that bad. The interior offensive line is just that bad. And the problem is D'Amico seen it, Chris Strausser seen it, and Nick Caserio, who's at every practice and stands to the far end of wherever they are, whatever end they're on, he's on the opposite end watching everything that's going on. So there's no possible way that Nick couldn't see that this is going to happen. We're in week 9 right now. And I know that the Houston Texans are 6-3, but that 6-3 isn't a good 6-3. Let me say that. They're 6-3. You can't take that away from them. But with the amount of pressure that is being put on CJ Stroud, with the amount of stunts and delayed blitzes that this interior offensive line is seeing on a consistent basis, and every time you turn around, it's the same stunt, it's the same delayed blitz. And if you've seen it before, how come you can't get it together? But with that being said, in training camp, D'Amico seen that, Chris Strausser seen that, who is the offensive line coach, and Nick Caserio, somebody who could do something about it, seen that. But you know what it was? Oh, and Bobby Slowick, let's not excuse him. Bobby Slowick seen that as well. So let's not excuse the fact that these coaches, D'Amico, Chris Strausser, Bobby Slowick, and the general manager, Nick Caserio, knew that they had an interior line issue and did nothing to fix it. Now, with that being said, this is where they messed up. Because without a shadow of a doubt, I know Bobby Slowick thought this because he said it on numerous occasions about CJ bailing him out when it comes to bad calls. Said it on numerous occasions how CJ has bailed him out when it comes to bad calls. So they're looking at how bad this interior line is. They're looking at how bad the right guard, center, and left guard is. Now, that's not excusing Laramie and Titus. I'm not excusing the tackle position, but they haven't been as bad as that interior line, which is where a lot of the pressure is coming from. And I know Titus has been beat. Laramie has been beat, but that middle is not solidifying. So even if the tackles get beat, CJ can't step up into the pocket because there's too much chaos and confusion right there. Even if your tackles are getting beat, because they're one-on-one, a lot of these teams are doing exactly what the Houston Texans are doing on defense, playing that wide nine when it comes to the defensive end. They're getting up the field. So that means CJ should be able to step up, but he can't step up because there's too much pressure on the inside. And now it's starting to make him look like he's a bad quarterback. And I get it. I understand. Everybody's going to have their opinions. But when CJ, it does have the amount of time, listen, if he gets one play where he has the time, in his head, he's thinking, I don't have the time because the previous 4, I've been under pressure. On top of the fact, I'm still waiting on these routes to develop. Why are we still calling these long developing routes when you know that I'm getting so much pressure at the snap of the ball? So they all knew, the coaching staff and the general manager knew that this was an issue and that this was a problem in training camp, and they did nothing to fix it. And you know why they didn't do nothing to fix it? Because this is how they tried to mask it, right? This is how they tried to mask it. So, you know, like, real quickly, like, if you have a big open wound that requires stitches, you can't just put a Band-Aid on it. If your open wound requires stitches, you can't put a Band-Aid on it. Your interior offensive line is an open wound. You can't just put CJ, the Band-Aid, excuse me. Let me start this thing over. Your interior offensive line is an open wound. The Band-Aid you're trying to put over that open wound that needs stitches, the Band-Aid you're trying to put over it is CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. And I'm talking about when he was healthy and when Nico was healthy. Joe Mixon. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That open wound of the interior offensive line that requires stitches. You need stitches to close this thing up and to fix it. You saying, nah, let's just put a gauze over it. Let's just put a big Band-Aid over it. Hey, look, I know. Look, we know we got issues right there, but CJ can do it. CJ can cover it up. CJ can make everything all better. Because CJ can do it. Nico Collins can do it. Tank Dell can do it. Stephon Diggs can do it. And Joe Mixon, we went out, we added Stephon Diggs, and we added Joe Mixon. So we don't really need stitches. We can just put a big gauze over it until and let it heal. We just put this big Band-Aid over it. No, you can't do that. That offensive line is the open wound that requires stitches. CJ, Tank, Nico, Stephon, and Joe Mixon is a Band-Aid that's big enough to cover the wound. It can cover the wound. It can't heal the wound. I'm preaching right now. Look, y'all know I didn't even try. It's Sunday. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Sunday is tomorrow. I'm out here preaching right now. And that was the issue. The season that CJ had, the season that Nico had, and the half season that Tank had was something that they thought, well, as long as we have those 3 operating, and we went out and we got Stephon Diggs and we got Joe Mixon. Now, coming into the season, well, we don't really need to do all of that because with the amount of offensive skill players and weapons that CJ had, he can make it work. Well, what happened? Yeah, were you not? So look, let me tell you something. In the military, it's always a contingency plan. You always have to have a contingency plan. And for that contingency plan, you got to have a contingency plan for that contingency plan. And then if those two, if those 2 contingency plans don't work, then you got to have another contingency plan. Like, you always have to be planning for something to go wrong. Because if your plan fails, you got to have a backup plan. And if your backup plan doesn't fix the original issue from your plan, then you got to have another plan. You got to be able to, what we could do is called pop smoke and go the other way. Pop smoke and divert. Hey, look, we taking on fire this way. Hey, pop that smoke and come around from the other side. Pop that smoke and let the Bravo team go in and do what they need to do. Pop that smoke and let the Delta team go in and do what they need to do. Come from a different angle. Switch this thing up. You got to have a contingency plan. And the Houston Texans coaching staff, starting with D'Amico and the general manager, Nick Caserio, had no contingency plan, and that's why the interior offensive line looks the way that it looks right now. And I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, from what I'm being told, Nick is aggressively looking to see what's out there. That's what one of my sources told me. Nick is aggressively looking to see what's out there. I don't know if can he get something good to fix that? You've lost Kenyon Green for the season, so you can't keep blaming him anymore. He's out with a dislocated shoulder. You can't blame him anymore. Now you got Kendrick Green in there. Jared Patterson, I guess when you get him back from concussion protocol, where maybe you're going to try to throw him in there to replace Juice. What about Shaq Mason? And now you're mixing and matching and mixing and matching and mixing and matching. All the while, you got the toughest part of your schedule coming up. You got the Detroit Lions. You may not think it's a game worth anything, but you still have to play the Dallas Cowboys. You got the Miami Dolphins. You got to play the Chiefs. You got to play the Ravens. Like, you're getting into a part of your schedule, and you're not just like that latter half. Like, you're getting into a spot where you're going to have to adjust quickly because they got 3 games in 10 days or something to that effect. They got to play too many games back to back. And by having to play too many games back to back like that, can it really be fixed? But this goes back all the way to training camp. One thing that I can say, AD, I'm going to give you your props too, because I wasn't the only one that was saying this. I wasn't the only one saying this loud. Y'all were saying this loud too on the H-Town Rundown too. I will say that. I will say that. And so it's something that has to happen. And I don't think that they can get it fixed this year. I honestly and truly don't. If you're asking my opinion, I don't know if they can fix it right now when it comes to solidifying that interior offensive line. The only thing that they can do, Bobby Slowick, you're going to have to, one, either call quicker plays, 2, tell CJ, hey, call what you see, or 3, something that I have been saying for the last at least month. And now everybody else is starting to pick up on it and starting to make it seem like this their original idea. But I have the proof that I've said this a long time ago on numerous shows. Nobody knows CJ better than Gerard Johnson. Nobody knows CJ better than Gerard Johnson on that Houston Texans coaching staff. Nobody. Gerard and CJ have been tied at the hip for a very long time. Maybe it's time for Bobby to pull Gerard in and say, hey, man, I need your help. Don't be too prideful, Bobby. Don't be too prideful to where you can't ask for help. Don't be too prideful where you can't take one for the team and say, let me put my ego to the side, which, by the way, Bobby Slowick doesn't have an ego, not in front of us, at least. I've never seen him come off as being arrogant or egotistic or anything like that. But it's hard. It's hard for a person. I don't want to even say a man. I'm just going to say a person. It's hard for a person to have to ask for help sometimes when you think that you're doing, like when you're trying to do the best that you can do. And you're thinking to yourself, I can get this figured out. I just need more time. But the time is running out. You're 9 games into this season, and you got a lot of tough games coming up. Listen, you do have a good lead in the AFC South. And all you have to do is split with the Titans, I think, and then you win the AFC South and you make it into the playoffs. We're getting to a point now, and even though this is only the second year for CJ. We're getting to a point now where it's like, hey, the AFC South title, cool. Winning a wild card game, cool. But y'all will put together to win a divisional game and get into the AFC championship. I think that the video that I put out, I asked CJ about that too, about taking it one game at a time, and this was that game. This was that game. There's no possible way that the Houston Texans should have lost to a team that was 2-6 and 0-5. And if I can side note here for a second before I get back to talking about how they should have fixed this in training camp. See, a lot of people don't like to do this, but I will, because I told you all, hey, look, I'm here. I don't have a team. I don't have a favorite. Do I like talking to head coach DeMeco Ryans? I do. I think that DeMeco Ryans is one of the smartest guys I've ever met when it comes to football, but he's not above being called out. And on that play that Devontae Adams scored on that touchdown, you're calling cover 0. When you see the lineup, when you see the matchup, and you see that Jalen Petrie is on Devontae Adams, at that point, did you not say, wait, I don't care if I got to burn a timeout, because if I burn this timeout and we stop him on 4th and down, that's cool because we get the ball back. But you allow Jalen Petrie to line up on a first ballot Hall of Fame wide receiver. Devontae Adams is going in on the first ballot. First ballot, hands down. He's going into the Hall of Fame. And you're putting Jalen Petrie on him, and you're in cover 0. Like, at some point, that should have kicked in and said, wait a minute, hold on, timeout. Call a timeout. Pull him to the side. Try to see if you can switch that matchup. But even if you can't switch up the match, even if you still get Jalen Petrie lined up on Devontae Adams, you know what you tell Jalen coming out? Hey, look, jam him at the line of scrimmage. We are running cover 0. We're running a blitz. We're trying to get to Aaron Rodgers. This is 4th down. Press him at the line. Get your hands on him quickly. Give us 1 or 2 seconds. If you jam him, you give us 1 or 2 seconds, then we can that pressure can affect the throw. But you let Jalen Petrie line up in front of him and let Devontae Adams have a free pass off the line. You know that he can't hold him. And that is nothing against Jalen Petrie, but you're going up against a wide receiver that's going to the Hall of Fame. Do you not know that he practices on those routes? Do you not know that he looked across that line and said, hey, this dude used to play safety, right? So he's not really a cornerback. They put him at nickel cornerback this year, but he's really like a nickel cornerback / linebacker. Like, I know he can hit, but can he cover? Oh, don't worry about that. Do you know what Aaron Rodgers did when he seen that matchup? Excuse me. Do you know what he did when he seen that matchup? Because the first thing that Aaron Rodgers does is survey the field, and he looks for Devontae Adams. And he looks over there and he sees number 5. Not 24, not 4, 5. And even with that, you tell, hey, Caleb, if these players over here get beat 1-on-1, okay. If Garrett Wilson beats Kamari, then okay, we can live with that. Kalen, I need you shadowing over the top of Jalen, because if Devontae Adams gets a free release, he's going to go past him. He's going to go right past him. And did you see what happened? He went right past Jalen. That's a DeMeco Ryans and a Matt Burke issue. You two should have recognized. The Jets did. The Jets recognized the Jets recognized the mismatch. And look what happened. You took yourself out of a game because you got out-schemed. And you knew Aaron Rodgers. If Petrie jams him at the line, that 1.5 seconds that he jams him at the line gives the defense, the defensive line and linebackers who are blitzing enough time to get to Aaron Rodgers, because they were this close to him. You jam him at the line, he can't do nothing but throw that thing up. And that's going to be an incompletion. And now you get the ball back with an opportunity and a chance to win. But you don't do that. You leave him out there on the island. What do you expect? Of course, Jalen Petrie said it's on me. I got to be better. That was on me. I got to be better. If that's the matchup, then I got to be better. I got to do better, right? But God dang, y'all put him in a very, very, very bad situation. A very bad situation. I digress. The Houston Texans have entirely too much talent for us to still be talking about the fact that CJ Stroud can't get this offense going. And the reason why he can't get this offense going is because he does not have the time. And there's a lot of people out there that I'm saying to myself, are y'all watching the games? Or are you just going off a narrative? Because some of you all are saying CJ is a bad quarterback and he's having a bad season. What do you expect him to do? What do you expect him to do when, for let's just say, if they run 4 plays, 3 of those plays, he is under pressure. So, yes, he's going to miss some throws. Yes, he's going to hold the ball maybe in a little bit longer because, excuse me, he's going to hold the ball a little bit longer when he does have the time because he's still looking for trying to get the players downfield. Now, I'm not absolving CJ Stroud from any wrongdoing, and I'm not saying that he hasn't had bad games. He has had bad games. He's not a bad quarterback. And what the problem is that these defensive coordinators have caught up to what Bobby Slowick wants to run. And that's a Bobby Slowick issue. Football is a game of adjustments. I've told you all this story before. I'll tell it to you again. When I used to play against my sons on Madden, I tell them all the time, I wouldn't let them win. I beat them. And I tell them the reason why it's like, one, it's not my job to let you win. Because if I let you win, you're going to think that that's how life is supposed to be. No, not. Be competitive. Be competitive and learn to adjust. How I would beat them all the time is I'd find something that they were doing. I say, oh, okay, cool. I make the adjustments and then I win. And then they get mad and upset. And I say, nope, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. You kept running this. You kept doing this. So I made the adjustment. And instead of you making the adjustment, you kept doing what you were doing. My adjustment worked. And now that's why you lost the game. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Later on, when those two jokers learn how to adjust, them games got harder and harder. Harder and harder. I used to get 21. I could 21 rule them, get them off the sticks. Hey, get off the sticks, man. You stink. Bye. Get off. You not ready. And them games started coming down to the wire. Them games started coming down to the last possessions. And I had to keep making adjustments. And that's the problem with Bobby Slowick and his offense, is that he doesn't make the necessary adjustments at halftime for this team to be successful. If you know, Bobby, this isn't your first game. The New York Jets game is the first game. Note you got an offensive line issue. So now that's on you. Hey, look, I don't know how it's going to happen. We got to relieve CJ of some of this pressure. Hey, let's try to run some screens. Hey, I know we're doing an amazing job of running the ball. Let's just try to keep running the ball. We have got to slow down these defensive linemen who are killing my interior offensive line. They're killing them. And I got to find some way. If that means that I got to bring K Stover or definitely K Stover. If I got to bring K Stover in motion at the at the snap of the ball, put him out in the flats and dump it there. Hey, look, even if it's 3 yards, 3 to 5 yards, that's cool. Bam, I done that. Come back, run and play. Put K Stover in motion again. Let him come out. Let them think that I'm going to dump it into the flats. Let him dump it into the flats and come back and give it to Dalton Schultz that's posted up right here on the linebacker, wide open. I'm sorry, post it up on the linebacker and catch the ball. Hey, look, let's keep moving the chains. And like that's crazy because like we shouldn't be able to see that. And look, I've never coached an NFL game. I told you all that before. I've never coached the NFL game. I've never called the NFL offense. But I didn't seen enough good offense to know, hey man, this is what you can do. This is what you can do. So as I digress, right? Because I'll listen. I want to get into some of these comments. Y'all know how I do it. I got to be at the Rockets in about 40 minutes. But I got enough time to go through some of these comments and y'all let me know what y'all think. I know I'm not tripping. I know I'm not tripping because I kept saying this during training camp. Hey man, this offensive line, something ain't right about this offensive line. Something is not right about this offensive line. Something ain't right. CJ is under a lot of pressure. And my thing is, especially when it comes to D'Amico and Nick, if you can see your own defense, if you can see your defense that you're calling, and you can see the inefficiencies of that interior offensive line, at some point you had to say, hey, we got an issue. Because I'm scheming this thing right up to be able to beat them and get to CJ. So if I'm able to do it, we're going to go up against some really good defenses this year. Hey, Nick, we got an issue, bro. We got an issue that we need to fix. We got an issue that we need to fix. That our interior part of the line, because I don't know what Titus and Laramie is going to look like just yet because they haven't been out here. Like I don't think it was till almost close to the end of training camp that the offensive line as an entire unit finally got a chance to play together. And that's entirely too late. There's no way you can build camaraderie with Kenyon Green, who has been out for a year. Juice Scruggs, who only played 2 games at center last year. There's no way that you can build that type of camaraderie when you add those two to the offensive line, when that affects not only Laramie getting adjusted playing back with Kenyon getting adjusted to playing with Juice, and Juice getting acclimated to playing with Kenyon and Shaq Mason. Shaq Mason has to make the adjustment too. Like there's a big issue. There was a huge issue coming into training camp. Well, I'm sorry, coming into the season throughout training camp that Nick Caserio should have fixed. He should have fixed it. If I can see it, if people like Cody Davis can see it, if Jonathan Alexander, the beat writer from the Houston Chronicle, can see it, if DJ Bieniemy, the beat writer for ESPN, if they can see it, if it could be seen by us on the sidelines watching training camp and watching training camp and watching some of these preseason games, then with all the experience that D'Amico and Nick have, they should have been able to fix this thing a long time ago. Woo. Ain't y'all glad y'all came to this Saturday edition of the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show? Because look, I know. Let me tell you something. I was going to do this show yesterday. And then I said, okay, by the time I do the show, they've been heard everything about how CJ played, how the offensive line was horrible, how the defense wasn't good, blase this, blase that. How come they it was nationally televised game. They did not look good. It was a Jets team, this, that, another. I know I could have come on here and I could have rehashed everything that everybody else said and even more, because I was at the game and I was in the locker room after the game and I talked to some of the players. And so I could have came in here and I could have done all of that. But no, I said, I'm going to wait. Let everybody get whatever they have to say out. And then I'm going to come in with this perspective. I'm going to come in and with this perspective of, and I'm pretty sure ain't nobody else talked about this, because some of these people that's talking, they wasn't at every training camp. I'm just going to be honest with you. Some of these people talking about the Texans, they can't come up with this take because they weren't there. Now, is that a shot at people? If y'all take it that way, then boom. Y'all notice I switched from a pew, pew, pew. No, boom. Shotgun. You take it that way, so be it. I don't care. I honestly and truly don't care. Walmart has fillings on sale right now, 2 for 1. I can buy you a couple. I'm just saying. Nobody finna come in here and give you this take. Only the people that was there can give you this take. So, whoa, wow. Hey, this is a lot. But y'all know what? What have I told y'all? What have I told y'all? I told y'all that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. We're gonna get through these comments. May not be able to get to all of them, but I'm gonna get to some of them. It don't matter who come back to this team if they can't protect CJ. Gonna be a long season. After that performance against the Jets, we don't need any more primetime games. We can't perform when the lights are bright. Haven't voted in years. I really don't care who wins. I just put my trust in the Most High. All right. Bebo lady, we need OC. He ain't Bobby. All right. Let me see. Let's go get offensive line help ASAP and Jalen High for cheap. Go get Higgins. All right. What's a new wide receiver going to do if we can't block a simple blitz or stunt? Amen. That issue in training camp falls on Casario and D'Amico. Exactly. Because I know that they see the same thing that I seen. Wow. What's the solution in your opinion? The solution, in my opinion, Sarah, is the plays are going to have to be quicker because the defense is we've said this before. We know that this is a copycat league. It's a copycat league, and they're watching exactly what's going on. And in the 3 losses that the Houston Texans have had, they gave up 4 sacks to the Vikings, 4 sacks to the Packers, and 8 sacks to the Jets. The Jets. Got to call faster plays. Let me see. So what can be done? Who is on the market and how can this get fixed? Do we have the talent in the team to fix these issues? I don't know if you have the talent on the team to fix these issues. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. What do you do? Bring in Broker? What do you bring? Patterson? Do you replace Juice and Shaq Mason? Because we know Kendrick Green is probably going to start at left guard now. So what do you do? Who do you replace Shaq and Juice with? That's gonna be one of the issues. Let me see. So here's the question we need you to answer. What do the Texans need to do right now to fix this before next Sunday? Get Gerard Johnson in on the play calling and let CJ tell Bobby exactly what needs to happen, what he's seeing. I know what you're seeing on the film, but this is what I'm seeing on the field. So let's work together. And I don't know if it's because CJ's a second-year quarterback that they don't want to give him more responsibility, but what can it hurt? It can't hurt anything. Quicker plays. Gerard Johnson may need to get in on helping call these plays and give more responsibility to CJ because he sees and he knows. And CJ's a very smart quarterback. He knows what's going on. Hold on. Oh, this is hilarious. Whichever plan doesn't have CJ running fade routes at the goal line, that's the plan I'm down for. Amen, Javier. Amen. Hold on. Wait, what this mean? Barrett should get Sarge on the stand. Would be who is Barrett? Yeah, gotta let me know what that means. I don't know what that means. Let's see what Eric says. They let Dieter and Fant go, who weren't world beaters, but damn, they sure were competent enough. We went from middle of the pack O line to hot garbage because there was no plan to replace them. You have a point, Eric. That is a great point. Steve Nelson may be a little salty, but he said something on this podcast that made sense. D'Amico hasn't been focused on the secondary. He's been focused on the intermediate passes and stuffing the run, but secondary has been literally gouged for a deep pass every game. Some complete, a lot of times the opposition drops the ball. Yeah, I could debate that, but I won't because I don't have time right now. Maybe next week. I reached out to Steven Nelson too because he told me he wanted me on his show, and then he never followed up. I told him, "Hey, you can come on my show though." I put him right here. I don't know. I don't know, AD. I don't know if Bobby's too arrogant or not. What question did I ask? They can move Howard to left guard, Fisher to right tackle, Patterson in center, and get out 11 and 12 personnel and go to 3 wide receivers, and Mixon can change the tempo. I like that, Larry. That I like that. I like that. I've been saying that for a minute. They need to open up and stop using these condensed formations. Look, AD hates those formations. I do too. I said this in a spaces, and they told me, Sarge, get out of this spaces because we're trying to focus on positivity only. But I said this on the spaces 2 days ago. D'Amico and Bobby got out coached by an interim scrub who had been 0-3 coming into the game. Exactly. Barbecue chicken alert. Petrie good for anything inside 5-10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Yep, that's why they should have let him jam him. That's why they should have let him jam him. Ernie says, put Howard and Tunsil in the middle of and find decent blockers to replace them. Troy's gonna clown us. We're gonna get already injured prone hurt again. What's up, D Skills? I have completely lost faith in the staff at this point. They have seen this season go poorly and done nothing. That's a great take. Hey, that is a great take. That old line just as important as a quarterback, but Trent Dilfer took the Ravens to Lombardi. Hey, makes sense. I think Bobby forgot you can throw a halfback screen or tight end screen. Hey, I think so too. Yep, blast off. Exactly. They bang on the fact they lead the league in third down conversion teams that send a blitz. Exactly. And I think that they lead the league in time of possession, if I'm not mistaken. So let me see. Exactly, Alexis. I listened to some of that. I was like, yep, I'm going back to sleep. I was tired too. I was tired. Let me see if I can get down to some other people. When them changes coming, so we need them. Per your tweet post, it is possible Bobby didn't add wrinkles to offense this past season. You're right. Exactly. Let me see. You agree with Titus at left guard. I wonder if he's putting his foot down and saying he won't move. Yeah, I don't think Titus is going to move to left guard. Titus is a tackle. That's his best position. He plays very well at tackle. So, hey, you know where to find me. I almost said, hey, man, hit me up in the DM. Then I thought about it. Then I would have to say, pause. No Diddy, no Orlando Brown. Yeah, nah. Hey, you know where to find me at. And don't send me no baby oil emojis either. All right, y'all. I got to get ready to get up out of here. The Houston Rockets will take on the Golden State Warriors on Saturday night at Toyota Center, starting at, to say 7, but I'm not sure what the time is. Give me 1 second. Yes, the Houston Rockets will take on the Golden State Warriors at the Toyota Center on Saturday night. Game time is 7 p.m. So I have to get there so I can talk with the coaches. I love talking to Steve Kerr. Oh my God. I love talking to Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr is one of them guys, man. You know, Steve Kerr is really a Popovich disciple. He'll talk to you about anything. And I do mean anything and everything, as far, especially, I'm not going to bring up any politics, but woo, hold on. Let me get one more thing. If we're losing faith in the staff, I wonder how the players are feeling. These skills, you make sure, and I know you're one of the ones who support me. I know you do, and I really appreciate that. You want to talk about that next week? We can talk about that next week if you want to. I think you'll find it very interesting what I have to say. Get this out. We don't just make it to the playoffs if we do get it fixed. It's just another season going to the playoffs. Man. Larry said the priority is CJ. You got to do everything to keep him healthy and getting the ball out and spreading the defense out by changing formations is going to make CJ a lot happier. Amen, Larry. It's the exact same thing that I have been saying. You have to protect the franchise at all costs. CJ is the franchise. You have to protect him at all costs, no matter what. Protect him. This is by far the best quarterback the Houston Texans have ever had in their organization. And I know some people think it's Deshaun Watson. Nah, it's CJ. You got to protect him at all costs. And at some point, the frustration is going to boil over if he keep like nobody wants to keep getting hit this amount of times. In training camp, he would have taken a lot of hits if they would have been tackling. If they would have been tackling, he would have taken a lot of hits. But you can't tackle the quarterback. But in the game, you can tackle him. And there's so many times that CJ keeps getting hit repeatedly, over and over and over again. And if your quarterback keeps getting hit like that, then guess what, offensive line? That's a you problem. And you can't keep saying, we got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do this, that, and the other. Do better. Listen, we got to do better are action words. That's an action sentence. We got to do better, which meaning do better. Well, we just got to do better. Then do better. AD, you feeling good? You barbecued today or something? You having a little sip? You know you can't have too much. You got to go sing tomorrow in the choir. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. I would love to get your thoughts on Texans during their bye week on the A Train show. Hey man, this depends on if I'm able to, I definitely will. I got the Rockets too. So of course, if I can, I definitely will. Offensive line is key to the offense. Without it, the offense doesn't function. You can't be creative. You can't push the ball upfield. You cannot execute basic run. This team lost faith in the line. Huh. Yeah. Makes sense. AD, you know you gotta go sing tomorrow. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. And you can hit the high note too, like you did on Sister Act 2. With Jesus, he washed my sins away. Oh, happy day. AD, say something. Oh, happy. I gotta get up out of here, y'all. You've been tuned to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Make sure you follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because you know we do everything for the gram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Big Sarge Media and make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Texans podcast and to the Locked On Texans Locked On Texans YouTube page. Hold on, because I know somebody else got something. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I got. Yes, we are. We are. Yep. Appreciate that. Big Sarge. I'm out.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work.